Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today I have another brand new Civivi for you guys. This one is none other than the Civivi Hadros. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this very unique and attractive looking knife right here. We have an overall length of 7.55 inches with a blade length coming in at 3.35 inches. The cutting edge on this guy is 3.25 inches with a blade width coming in at 0.875 inches. Blade thickness is 0.12. Blade material on this guy is 10CR15 COMOV again. And we have a blade style of a wharncliffe. You don't say that a lot when you're talking about Civivis. Worth noting. Blade grind on this guy is a hollow grind with a handle length coming in at 4.20 inches and a handle thickness coming in at 0.48 inches. Handle width on this guy is 0.875 inches with handle material of micarta, locking mechanism of a liner lock, total weight coming in at 2.57 ounces, so a very nice light knife, with a price of $59.50 and designed by the one and only, you can probably guess it if you know this guy because this is very much his style, Dylan Mallory. He's had a handful of other pretty darn good designs come out over the past 2 years, I think. Definitely very resembling of his style. Now let's take a look at some overall size comparisons here. It has a really aggressive tip on this guy. I like it a lot. Now let's take a look at the Ferrum Forge Stinger, as well as we'll go Civivi Ortis. So as you can see, the Ortis don't ever want to stand up. As you can see, though, very similar to the Stinger and Ortis, really, in overall length. Definitely different feeling ergos on this guy. I don't really have any knife that comes very close to the ergos on this one. Pretty unique in terms of feel and hand, but not in a bad way. We will get to that in just a second. And let's also compare it to the Civivi Brazen, as well as another little smaller Civivi, the Civivi Meccano. So there you go, kind of a good medium there. It's actually almost as long as the Brazen. It's a little shorter. Yeah, the angle on this one isn't the best. I would say that's maybe a quarter to a third of an inch shorter than the Brazen for what it's worth there. Now, let's get into this knife. This is definitely one of the more unique Civivis you will ever come across. And as it should, being a Dylan Mallory design, if you guys know his style, it's very much, I mean, like this. It's hard to even describe, but just real pointy points, slender handles, unique ergos, and just a very attractive blade shape. You have a super gnarly and aggressive wharncliffe blade, and with a behind-the-edge reading of 17 thousandths combined with a pretty nice hollow grind, makes for a very nice and slicey blade as well. Dylan also did a really good job of keeping the thumb studs out of the way of the cutting path for the most part. There are some knives where they don't do too good of a job of that, but he did here, as you can see. Not much thumb stud at all in the way of that cutting path, so that's always nice to see. One thing that was very disappointing to see, and this was more on the Civivi end, was the scratches on my brand new blade that I did not make myself. It's actually kind of hard to see on the video, which is a good thing. But there's one right there and one right there. And I don't know how they got there. Definitely more noticeable in person. But yeah, smaller one there and then that pretty nice long one. That's pretty aggravating. And I think there was one over here too. Yeah. That one right along there. Like I said, they don't exactly pop out in the video, but just kind of annoying to see. Civivi is, they're held to pretty high standards because I think they're the best budget brand. So I'm going to let it be known when I find stuff like that. So don't appreciate the scratches on the blade, Civivi. Keep them in a line a little more, I guess. But regardless, lastly, I do love the jimping on this blade. I didn't even notice it at first. I was looking at everything else. There's so much to take in with this knife in terms of aesthetics, and just the curves and lines of this knife are so attractive. It took a while for me to actually put my hand on it and be like, oh, that jimping is nice. It really is, because it's right where your thumb wants to sit, just enough to get that good purchase and bite. And leading into the ergos of this guy, when I say that's exactly where your thumb wants to sit, it is because this handle, it sits in your hand. It's very unique in that way. It's not something to where you have to move around to find that good spot, the happy spot to where it sits in your hand. You put it in your hand and it's just like right there. It just goes right in your hand where it needs to be. Feels great. The jimping is right there for your thumb. And what really makes the ergos on this guy unique are obviously the combination of the thinness and slenderness here along the handle, but then also the curvature, because it really does. Like I said, it sits in your hand. And ironically enough, when I saw this design, because I saw a picture of it quite a while ago, when I saw how this was designed and I saw that clip on the back, I thought, oh no, don't do this. It's going to be a very, very uncomfortable feel in hand because of this clip. And I tell you, it doesn't make any sense, but it's not. It feels good. No hot spots. Like I say, you feel it, but all I feel from the clip in hand is the flatness of the clip here, which again is no big deal. That's why I always want and ask for a flat clip on handles, so you just get that feeling all along it. But I feel that, and then it's more of just like, I guess where this just happens to sit and hit in my hand right here, it's just hitting a nice soft spot, and you're just feeling kind of the rounded area. There's obviously no pointy areas on this clip, but it just sits really well in my hand. And in all honesty, I'm kind of struggling to explain it because I still don't quite understand it myself, but hey, it works. It works. So no issues there. Ergos on this guy are really good, and it also feels good in the reverse grip as well. Nice little extra secondary position if you ever need to use it in that position for any reason. But just a very, very comfy feeling hand. Now, as for the micarta, it's nothing special, but it's really kind of, it's okay. It's one of those things where sometimes I feel like the micarta from Civivi, it kind of has like a plasticky feel, or it doesn't feel like micarta. Now, this doesn't quite have the texture that a higher quality micarta does, but aesthetically it looks okay. You can see the fabric grain in there. Not a lot of it, but it's also black, so the black sometimes hides it a little more. With some hand oils and whatnot, but you get just enough of an accent there to know that it's micarta, and it's not all frayed up and falling apart, so that part's okay. So it's just, it's a decent micarta. It's okay. It's not top of the line. It's not the worst, but I don't have any too big of an issue with this micarta. Now, going into the action on this guy is very good, and it's a real joy to use these thumb studs because where they're placed, you have a lot of room around them. Sometimes thumb studs can get close to the handle, or they can be down too low or up too high. Nowadays, manufacturers, I think, have figured it out for the most part, but this one just has a little extra space, so you combine the extra space of the thumb studs with this clip and the narrowness and the way the handle curves into your hand. It's just a very, very comfortable feeling hand right before deployment, and the blade just flies out. I mean, it's got the good Civivi detent. Very smooth on the close, too. One of the smoother Civivis on the close that I've felt in quite a while. I'm not going to call it the smoothest because I'd have to go back and compare it to my other ones, but it feels very, very good. You have to shake it a little harder, not a little harder, but you have to, shake it a good amount. But it doesn't make any real sounds. It doesn't have that gritty feel. Just very, very smooth on the detent. The detent ball path as well as the bearings. But yes, very, very good with the thumb studs for the thumb. And then also, middle finger flicks very well too. I mean, this is one to where it's 50-50 as far as I'm concerned. I really do enjoy the middle finger and the thumb flick on this guy. They feel really good. and there's really no big issues with it. None at all. It's a very solid knife from top to bottom, and really this is an addition the Civivi lineup has needed for quite a while, because I got to thinking about it. I was like, when was the last time Civivi came out with a true Wharncliffe blade? I mean, now some people, I don't know if I can do it left-handed. Some people will, left-handed, a little difficult there. Some people will consider the McKenna somewhat of a Wharncliffe, like a modified Wharncliffe. And yeah, I guess I get that, but not a true Wharncliffe. I think this is the first true Wharncliffe in the Civivi lineup. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I tried to think of one, but I could not come up with one. I can't think of one, so I'm pretty sure this is the first true Wharncliffe, and I like that a lot. As diverse as Civivi's lineup is, they've needed this for quite a while. I'm really glad Dylan Mallory was the guy to bring it to him. He's a great designer, a great guy, and this is a great looking knife. Overall thoughts are very positive. Definitely one I would recommend. If you like Wharncliffes, if you like that Dylan Mallory style of design, look no further. This is definitely one worth checking out at $59.50. Price is absolutely good to go. And one that I like a lot more than I thought I would. I was expecting to like this, but it's growing on me even quicker, and I'm liking it more and more as I carry it and have it in hand. Very, very good offering from Civivi. A very solid addition to the lineup. One I would recommend. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.